Good morning and welcome to the Tradinformed Training Model live trading model demonstration. Going to be live streaming some trades this morning, and just joining me now is Ren Vallow. Welcome, Ren. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at the Tradinformed Excel model. Morning, Ren.
Morning, Mark. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. You all right?
Had a little trouble with Zoom today.
Pardon?
Had a little trouble with Zoom today.
Yeah. I was having some internet problems just a moment ago. Maybe it's something to do with this market volatility we've been having recently.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's been incredible, hasn't it?
It has been incredible. I'm looking at NQ at the moment, so we're up 300 points today. That was down, I don't know how many points yesterday. So, well, interesting times. So what we're going to be doing today is testing on the 5-second time frames. We're going to be getting lots of trades. I'm going to be demonstrating what this Excel live trading model can do. You can automate you can backtest your strategies, optimize them, and then set them live to take the trades for you in the market. So we've got about 12 minutes until the start of the main session. So that will be 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So that is just enough time for me to go through the setup process. So I'm just going to close down the model, and what I've got on the screen at the moment is just the Rhythmic software that we're using as a way to take our trades. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select Open Saved Spreadsheet. So I don't know if you could see that on there, but I've just clicked Open Save Spreadsheet, and I'm going to open the spreadsheet model, which is going to pop up here.
So Mark, are you using the adjusted spreadsheet that just uses the position sheet, or are we still using the original?
No, I'm using the new version that we have, that you've been working on, Ren, and we've introduced since last week's live stream. So in just a moment, you can go over the changes that you've made to the model. So I've opened up the spreadsheet. I'm actually just going to press Control D to make sure it's disabled. So you can see on the screen here that the model is connected, and you can see here on my time zone, I've got the latest data flowing into the model. So it's 2:20 p.m. on my time zone, which is 9:20 a.m. Eastern time. So we've got data coming into the model. Next thing I'm going to do is going to run a quick optimization for the day. So I usually do this before I start each day. So I've set the one change that I have made actually since last week is I have changed the profit target and stop loss to be measured in points.
Excellent. So, we talked about that last week. Yeah,
we did, yeah. So that was quite a small change actually, but I think it's made a big difference. So all I'm doing is just running through some values here, and the data that I am using spans the data that is in the model here. So it's roughly 1,000 rows. So we're going back to slightly earlier today, the last couple of hours.
Yeah, like an hour and a half or so. Right?
Yeah, and we've had a super morning out of hours in the US. We've had a super morning, and the model is more or less, probably not quite as much when the market's like this. It's just we just need to hold on. So I'm just going to try a few values. This is just based on a bit of experience and just seeing what's worked. We've done a number of these live streams now and just seeing what works.
And what are you looking for here, Mark, when you're doing your optimization?
Again, I've said this before. It's just having spent an awful lot of times on lots of different models. I'm really looking for, quite honestly, in this situation, an upwardly sloping curve is pretty cool. I want to have a decent number of percentage of winning trades, and absolutely crucial as well is avoiding big drawdowns. I want to adjust it so that we're appropriate for this period of the day. So we're day trading here. We're trading on a very fast time zone, the 5 time bars. So we're on the 5-second bars. So I want to have something that's appropriate for it. So Another thing that I'm just going to quickly show is we've got a time close here. So this is 20 bars. So it's 25-second bars. If the trade is still hanging on, it hasn't hit the profit target or the stop loss, then we can exit at that point. And the trade is in profit as well. So yeah, setting a profit target here of about 25 points and a stop loss of 15 points. Another thing that I'm doing in here is something that I discussed with you, Ren, earlier this week about adding in a cost of trading.
Yes.
So we want to get this as realistic as possible, and but not making it too unrealistic either. Something that actually reflects the real costs that you're going to incur when you're trading. So I mean, one thing. Before I get into that, one thing that we can do is actually control when, using this spreadsheet, you can control when you're opening it. When the spread's too wide, you don't need to open a trade.
Yep. Exactly.
And that's,
So
I know that's one of your areas of interest, Ren, so I'll let you talk more about that in just a moment. So I've set up the spreadsheet. I've got a reasonable setup here. We know from doing these live streams that about 20 bars works quite nicely, and we're showing a pretty decent percentage of winning trades. Let's see what the markets have to offer us. We've got about 6 or 7 minutes until the bell. So I'm going to just see where we are actually. I'm just going to see if we've got strategies opening up a trade. So we've got no trade open at the moment. So we've had a slight pullback. So I think we press Control E and start the model running.
All right.
So yeah, Ren, so there's a couple of points there. What have you done since the last week that we had this live stream?
So I updated this spreadsheet to only remove the dashboard from Rhythmic, and we're just using the positions worksheet and the main chart worksheet. So we just have the charts and the positions are the two that we link now. So we're linking 2 sheets instead of 3, and it seemed to improve the performance a little bit as well. So that trader dashboard on Rhythmic seemed not to be updating as quickly as we would have liked. So just kind of disregard it for now. You know, it's something you could link back up to our sheets if in the future it seems to be working better. But right now it just seemed to be a little bit of a delay in how quickly it updated the positions. So just don't really need to use it. So we just disabled it.
Yeah.
So we just have those two. Otherwise, that was the main change for the week.
Yeah. So I mean, there is a good logic in that. This is not a spreadsheet for super high frequency trading, but it is one that can cope with. We've found out a wide variety of different time bars. Not many people are going to be trading live on the 5-second bar because just the time for your brain to register a trade and click a mouse would make it pretty challenging for most of us who are not hardcore gamers. But we've seen already that this spreadsheet can cope pretty well on this time frame. We've done the 1-minute time frame, we've done 15-minute time frame in back testing, but it's not quick enough to demonstrate this. So this is why we had the idea of running it on the 5-second time frame and seeing what happened during the live stream.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it looks like the strategy is performing quite well. These Tuesday mornings seem to be a very good time to be running the strategy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we've had a lot of luck on Tuesdays. There's a bit of a phenomenon in the markets that we often see negative Fridays, and when we have a negative Friday, there's often a bit of a hangover into Monday. And we saw, in fairness, a bit more of a hangover this week. We saw a bit of a nightmare day yesterday for people trading long. Anyway, closed must have closed quite near to the lows really for just about everything. So Tuesdays has often been a good turnaround day, so we're hopefully riding on the coattails of that and seeing what happens. Even though we're already some number of points up. What are we up at the moment? 290 odd points up.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. That's quite a gap up. But we had such a bad week last week, and then yesterday was another bad day in the market. So very, very likely today could be a turnaround Tuesday, as they say.
Yeah. That's what we want. We want to turn around Tuesday. And we want a bit of follow through. You can see on the on the chart here, we're retracing a little bit. That is very, very common. Obviously, we've hit those out of hours highs, and now we're just retracing a little bit, and we're going to see a wall of orders hit the market, and we're going to see some big candles popping up very soon.
Yep, and yeah, it's a kind of the morning volatility that we experience every morning.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
So I just read an article JP Morgan Chase put out about the days of the week, and they identified Monday being the worst day of the week for long positions, and Tuesday to be the best.
Yeah, well, JP, yeah, I think actually on my analysis, Fridays are the worst, but I'll have to have a look at that and see how they've measured it. Fridays.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you. Yeah.
Sorry, Ren.
I'll send it. I'll send you the
Yeah,
article.
I'll be interested to have a look at that. Fridays and Mondays are statistically the worst days over quite a significant period. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are the best days to be long, and that's on a close-to-close basis. So we have got this phenomenon, this overnight gap, and this is one of the things that you can do with an Excel model like this. You can let it run overnight. I've had a lot of the gains, particularly in US stocks, but this is a worldwide phenomenon, are occurring out of hours. So one way to take advantage of those is obviously just to buy the night times. Another way, if you want to get in and out in a more nimble fashion, is to use a model like this to take your trades for you.
Absolutely. Yep, that's good. And it looks like it's performing quite well. 64% of the trades are successful. I guess it's worsening right now for the way we have the model set up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So we're using strategy 1, which is a momentum style strategy. So it just relies on a very, very tiny pullback. And when the market pushes on again higher, it will get into that trade very quickly. So anybody that's here at the on the live stream, welcome. Please hit us with any questions you have about the model, comments about the markets, or thoughts about what we could say or do to make this model work better for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, looking forward to some questions. And this is the model's available for download today. So if you guys want to check it out, you're welcome to download it and test it live.
Well said, Ren. Yep, this model is available. So we're using, I've mentioned it briefly in passing, we're using the Rhythmic RTrader Pro software. We're not affiliated with Rhythmic, but they have a way of linking Excel to the markets, in this case the futures markets, and we're using this we're testing this strategy, demonstrating this strategy. There we go. We've had the live bell, we've had the market open bell on NQ, on the Nasdaq E-mini futures. So very liquid market, tendency to trend historically, and recently it's been very volatile. So we'll see what today has to offer.
Yeah, let's see how we're doing. Oh, we got a message.
So I'll just carry on running that, see where that came from.
It didn't pull up anything. Are we in a trade?
Let's have a look. Oh, we're in a theoretical trade. We haven't taken that trade. So we've hit the profit target already. So we've hit the theoretical profit target already. But we haven't taken that trade.
So yeah, let's check and see if everything's linked up. But it's interesting. Hopefully.
Yeah, so we should be linked up, but yeah, we haven't taken that trade. But anyway, the theoretical one, we got in at a small pullback and that immediate kick up that we can see on the on the Rhythmic chart there has we've taken a profit target, so that's 25 points trade straight off the bat.
Absolutely, yeah. The market is jumping up aggressively here, so it's going to be trading aggressively.
Yeah, so we're up now 340 points on the day, so we're recovering from those lows. So 68%, this strategy showing 68% winning trades, which is good. Setup seems quite nice. The good thing about having points in there is that the profit target and stop loss, particularly for these day trading, make a bit more sense. When we were doing the ATR, that's good, it adjusts to volatility, but when the volatility adjusts quickly, like it does at this time of day when we have the bar size suddenly doubling or more, then the ATR becomes a little less useful. It's better for
Right.
it to adjust a bit slower than that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so taking another trade, let's see what price we got in at that one. So 12,531. So yeah, slightly below the current price.
Yeah, it's pulling back a little bit.
And we're
So
pulling back, yeah. So one thing we've found with this 5 second time frame is we are getting loads and loads of action, even in this short period of time. It may well be that the 5 second time frame is not the best time frame for your strategy. Anybody watching this on the live stream, if you're interested in doing this for yourselves, but what we are demonstrating is that the model is perfectly happy at this sort of time frame, and you the sort of thing that you can do with it.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And you can change it to what it like right now. It's just using an EMA crossover as a strategy, but you could implement almost any strategy that you can imagine using Excel, which is good.
Exactly, yes. I mean, we've got all sorts of indicators available. Excel is very, very easy. It's as easy as anything to program a strategy, but what I particularly like about it is the way you can investigate and debug a strategy, and that's not always easy to do when you're using any form of software, really. But with Excel, you can go through line by line if necessary to look at every single step of the indicator and how the strategy is, what the strategy is doing at any one time. So you can understand why it's opening and closing. And that is particularly important for these short, very, very fast time frames. If you're looking to trade intraday, you've got to understand what your strategy is doing, and you don't want to just let it go wild and open and close trades when you've got real money on the line.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, Mark, if you have a chance, can you go over to the place orders so we can look at that our little dashboard screen and see where we're at? Okay. So it thinks it bought. It tried to buy. So I'm wondering if the positions sheet is linked currently on Rhythmic.
I will try and link that again. So if there's any problem with the linking, what you can do is go back here.
Yep, and just relink it.
There we go. So I have.
And then we could manually put one in there with and just see if it takes it. If that position sheet is linked, it'll take that trade for you. There we go. Yeah, should go.
No, it's not taking that trade either.
Okay. Yeah, something is disconnected on the disconnected to Rhythmic. I'm not sure if maybe it's in the VBA message we got. Maybe it's frozen in the background?
No, the VBA is running.
Okay. Yeah.
So anyway, we've not got the strategy itself. We've not got any trades at the moment because if you look at the chart, it's pulling back. So if I go myself back onto the, you can see the underlying market. If you can see my cursor, it's pulled back. How many points has it pulled back? It's pulled back about 90 points in a very, very short space of time.
Yes. Yeah, that's the whole idea of the strategy too. It's just kind of flatline the portfolio while we're waiting for the pullback to stop, and then it'll launch back when it goes back up again, right?
Yeah, this is exactly the time. We know this now, don't we, Ren? That this is exactly the time when this strategy is doing its stuff. When we have really, really strong moves to the upside and strong moves to the downside. So strong moves to the downside, we're out. We're not entering any trades. Strong moves to the upside, we're going to be in, as long as there's even a tiny pullback to get in, and hopefully taking multiple trades on that. But when it goes straight down like this, there's no opportunity to get in a trade. So we're in cash and not, we've got no risk at the moment, no trades currently.
Yeah, that's a beautiful example of what can happen. The market just starts to plunge to the downside, and it just freezes the trading and just waits for the opportunity to go back long again.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the skill for intraday trading is identifying the right strategy for the right moment. So we know what to expect now for NQ. it's not always, we can't predict the future, but we know the sorts of things that happen in the early morning session like we're getting at the moment. And we've got a strategy that copes pretty well with that sort of condition. What it doesn't do very well is the choppy type of markets, which
Yeah,
happen maybe around lunchtime, typically, but it can happen at any time of the day, back and forward. The strategy, a different type of strategy, will work better during those market times.
so what do you like for the choppy strat? What's your favorite choppy strategy to run?
Well, here we're doing a momentum type of
Yeah,
strategy. So a mean reversion would be if we want to sell the highs, buy the lows.
yeah,
Even for an NQ, you do have to be a little bit more careful about buying those lows because we know it can suddenly come to life and sell off another 100 points in an instant.
absolutely.
But I think that's more the type of strategy. In fact, a lot of intraday trading is going to be bouncing around from the lows to the highs, maybe pivot points, that sort of intraday strategy, just sort of milking the ups and downs of the market rather than going for the killer home run type trades.
Right, and with this strategy, you could optimize it for time of day, and just we have the mean reversion built into this. That's our number two strategy for this, right? So you could
Exactly.
run, say after the morning volatility settles down, then switch over to the mean reversion, and you could automate that process too in Excel using the date and timestamp.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You could have as many strategies as you like in there. You can have your 9:30 to 10:30 strategy, your 10:30 to 11 o'clock. You can automate um, different types of profit targets during the time. You want to have a different profit target on the overnight session to what you might want during the day when you've got bigger moves. So, yeah, you can totally automate that. Um, and as we've said before, that probably just leaving this sort of thing running, it's absolutely, it's a better way of doing it than trying to force yourself to sit in front of the screen and trade this yourself, trade it manually.
Absolutely, yeah, it really is. Yeah, and it's great to see how it performs in a very volatile market. We catch those upswings. It cuts it off when we get those really sharp down moves, and we're slowly stair stepping our way higher while the market really hasn't done a whole lot since the open. It was up a lot, then down a lot, and it's kind of just bounced around where it started.
Yeah. The equity curve. I can. Have we still got the equity curve on here? Yeah. So the equity curve doesn't look great on that sort of scale, but it is hardly a single drawdown.
Yeah,
And compared to the go back here, the obviously quite a big drawdown. What did we say? It was about 90 odd points from the opening highs.
yeah,
So
and that's a substantial amount of money if you were trading the Nasdaq futures. That's like close to $2,000 right there. So it protected your portfolio quite a bit in that short amount of time.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, pretty happy with the strategy performance. First thing, we've taken a stop loss hit on that last trade, which is this move down here. Another thing which we haven't tried on these live streams, Ren, is the stop loss.
Yeah, we haven't.
Oh, we haven't tried the trailing stop multiplier. Um, Trailing stop, I tend to have a bit of a bias for trailing stops. I do like them on the daily time frame quite often for some strategies, some types of markets. They can work really nicely. But
Mm-hmm.
when you get quite a bit of noise on the intraday time frame, so I'd be biased against them. But I haven't probably. Maybe we can try it. That's another thing that we can try because the idea
Yeah,
behind the trailing stop is brilliant. That it just moves in the direction of the trade and never moves the other way. It never
exactly.
increases. It always reduces your risk.
It reduces the risk as you move along. I have not tried it myself either, so it's something to definitely investigate a little bit further and see if it might change the equity curve a little bit.
Yeah.
It'd be something to see.
So we'll reiterate, we don't change these numbers. What I did, if you weren't here at the start of the live stream, what I did is a really short bit of optimization just to set up the model and the strategy for what I was expecting today. So we already seen that it was going to be a pretty volatile session. So I've adjusted profit target and stop loss, taking account of the last few hours of trading action. And we're testing on the trading here on the 5-second bars. So we've got a couple of comments and
Excellent.
questions here. Pepe, just want to say thank you for showing your expertise. Many thanks, Pepe. Have you tried the downloading this model and testing it out? You can get a 2-week free trial with Rhythmic, the RTrader software that we're using here. So that's one thing to consider. Society 7. Can this strategy and Excel model be automated with MetaTrader 4.5? So this is something we have talked about before, isn't it, Ren?
Yeah, we
in
actually
theory,
looked into it. Yeah.
in theory, 100%. So I'll let you answer this one, Ren.
Yeah, absolutely. The connection can be made with MetaTrader. We've looked at it and briefly played around with it. There's many possibilities, but anything that will integrate with Excel can be plugged into this. And there are ways to integrate MetaTrader with Excel. So yes, you absolutely can use it with MetaTrader. And so what we're doing here is we're just using Rhythmic as a data provider to bring the data into Excel. You can also, if you have a brokerage that will support them, then you can use them for your data providing and trading strategies all at the same time. So it's a pretty robust system. They have very good response times on their data. So that's why we're using Rhythmic here. It's a very simple connection. We've also looked at using APIs with other places like Works has an API that we can connect into. And also we could customize, like using Python, you could pretty much connect anything to Excel. So I think that the sky's the limit. If you have a product out there, interactive brokers, for instance, would work. We've looked at many that would work. We've only really spent time with Rhythmic because of the ease of use. We've kind of had that set up. I had set that up a couple of years ago myself and brought that to Mark's attention. So that's what we're using today.
Yeah, I think what you've just said there, and there's two things, isn't there? There's what we're demonstrating, which is it's the Excel model. What it is, it gives you a format that you can use to backtest, develop strategies. So you have any ideas about intraday trading, maybe you're already trading on the intraday timeframes, you're a day trader, but you want to automate all or part of that process. This is a way you can do that. What we're providing is the Excel template that you can use, indicators, huge range of different indicators, and the ideas for building it up in Excel. What Rhythmic are doing, we're just plugging into the Rhythmic RTrader software, and as Ren has already explained, their data is streaming into this model, and I'll go back to it here. The data is streaming into this model every 5 seconds, and we're using that to calculate the indicators, decide when to enter a trade and when to exit a trade, and then the signal is sent back to Rhythmic and it is placed.
Yes, and you could actually increase the speed of this down to the tick, individual market tick, which is pretty incredible, down to a couple microseconds. So they do provide very fast data, and it's a free 2-week trial. So that's kind of the other reason why we wanted to go this route, because you don't have to sign up for a broker or do anything special to test it out. You could just download the free demo from Rhythmic and get this running. Whereas if you have like another system, you may have to have a broker associated with it. So this gives you an opportunity. If you don't have a brokerage firm, you can just plug this in and play.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. So any brokers that are currently using the RTrader, and there are quite a number of those, futures brokers, MetaTrader 4 and 5, I would say that is going to be on our hit list as we bring this forward. At the moment, this is still a demo version, which is good because you can download it right away. There's a link below this video that you can just click on, get the model absolutely for free, download it, and let us know how it works for you and what else you would like to see.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to say again, Ren, we've had a bit of a pullback now, haven't we? And it's been a sharp pullback. So I'm just going to bring up on my screen. So 162. What were we up at one stage? Well over 300. So we've gone back a long way.
Yes.
We've given back some of those gains. We're still up, but there is still, I think, pretty clearly we can say there's still a lot of selling pressure in the markets. So comparing if you can see my cursor again, I know it's quite small. We've had a bit of a pullback. We're going much lower than we were a couple of hours ago when this data started, but the trading strategy is still showing positive expectancy over that period of time. So
Absolutely.
it's a long only strategy, and there's no reason it has to be. It's just that's what we're demonstrating and testing it on. So we are looking for markets when the price is rising. In the future, we will be including short trades, and no doubt before too long, we'll be demonstrating in the live stream some short trading strategies, particularly, Ren, if the markets keep tanking the way they are at the moment.
I know we might have to focus on that here. It's definitely something to do. It's an opportunity. We don't get very many opportunities to have a short strategy, but we do now.
Yes. I think we can say that particularly tech stocks are already in a bear market, and
Absolutely.
the wider market, maybe measured by the S&P, must be getting pretty close to bear market territory.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. So yeah, but with the long only, it looks like we're doing quite well. We're still a profit for the day, and the market is not.
Yeah.
Well, the market is, but I mean, since we've been running this data
Yeah.
for the past hour.
Over the past 20 minutes or so.
Yeah,
So the market is continuing to fall fairly sharply. We're not entering any trades at the moment.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's obviously, we know, all of us know as traders, we know it's much better to be flat rather than in a losing trade. When you're in a losing trade, the pressure builds, and we all do it. It gets to us, and we start making mistakes. Once everything's loaded into this model, you've made all your decisions before, and then you can just let the model run. If you decide, well, that's it, I've had enough for today, you just need to switch it down. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, just turn it off.
Yeah, no need to come up with a new strategy on the fly. No need to revenge trade. Just turn it off, walk away. There'll be brighter days in the future, because there always is. The market only goes up or down. At the moment, we're seeing a lot of down, but even in times like this, there's still good days for a long only strategy.
Yeah, it seems to perform quite well when we have these like really strong down days too, because it just keeps you out of the market. Like I've noticed with this very simple strategy, it does very well on trending days higher, and it does very well when the market's crashing. It just sits on the sidelines. Like you said, the choppy markets are difficult for this strategy, where you just kind of go back and forth and nothing happens. But
yeah, agreed. I think we've just entered a trade there. I can see, yeah, we've entered a trade there. We'll see what happens with that one. I was going to demonstrate something. I don't normally change any of these things while this strategy is linked, but I was going to test one thing, and that was put in a long filter EMA. That's just as simple as it sounds. It's basically only going to take a trade when the price is above this EMA. It's a long EMA. I think it's 250 periods, and at the moment I would strongly expect we're below that level. So that's another thing you can add in. If you're feeling particularly cautious for a day, you don't want to be buying at the lows, you can add in extra filters, and it really is. I'm not going to do it now because we are in a trade. It's as simple as checking the boxes on the side here, and that's the same process for changing the EMA, the entry EMAs, changing to a different strategy as well.
Yeah, and those are the things you'll look at before the market opens. You know, if you're going to adjust your strategy, the time to do is before you start trading. And
exactly, 100%. Yeah. So again, we've just seemed to have hit at least a temporary bottom, and we've entered this new trade. This is why we're having this small uptick, and that's enough to get us into a long momentum trade. So we'll see how that one goes.
so if you added that filter on there, essentially we wouldn't have gotten this trade probably. You would just
I expect not. Not. So it was. I haven't often found, the reason it's normally checked off is I haven't actually found it adds much to this strategy. And in fact, many strategies on the NASDAQ all the way up to the daily time frame, where I do a lot of back testing, It just seems to me that the Nasdaq, a lot of these momentum type trades do actually come from deep. They come from when we've had a bit of a retracement. I know it's dangerous because we can have sustained downturns, but they
Right.
do come from quite low down, and you do have very vicious spring back ups on the Nasdaq.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we get these really big moves. We've had some really big down moves too, but it looks like we may have. Did we close that trade for a small profit?
Yeah, it's already closed. Yeah, already
Okay.
closed. Um,
Looks like it hit the 20
yeah,
bar.
that was something that I mentioned briefly at the start of the webinar. We're using a few different exit conditions, not many, but one of them is a time close. So the trade will only stay open for 20 bars, and if at any time at 20 bars and afterwards, if the trade is in profit, it will close that trade. The system will close that trade.
All right.
Okay, so I think we've taken some good trades. We've done some good demonstration. If anybody's here live on the live stream, please pop any questions that you have in the or comments you have in the chat window, and we will do our best to answer them. So we're coming to the end of the time that we normally do for the live stream. Ren, do you have any thoughts?
No, not at all. I think it was a really good demonstration day today. Unusually good because we got a nice up move in the beginning, and now it's gone down, and we can see how the strategy actually can perform and how the automation can help you stay out of the market when things are going south.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's been a perfect demonstration day. Even if you can just see this is if you can see again my cursor, I know it's a fairly small part of the screen, pointing downwards. This is a linear regression line, a straight line, best fit through the data. It's pointing downwards for the underlying market over the past 1,000 bars, and on the trading strategy, it's just about pointing upwards. So it's made it's had a positive expectancy over that period of time. So it's showing the advantage of well, you're not going to buy and hold on this time frame, but it's showing what you can get from a strategy that's been tested and optimized and designed for what you expect the market conditions to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good observation. So we still have a positive expectancy on the trading, and the market was going down. So that's great.
So we've had a question here, Jace. Do you use any alternative data in your models, economic models? Very good question. Not on this time frame. I would say not on this time frame, but that's not to say that you can't have it in your head. So if you're looking at interest rates or any other type of data, and it's not price or volume data, you can have that information and be aware of it, and that can guide which strategy you select. It can guide how your position sizing, whether you're even trading or not. So for me, not on the intraday timeframes. I wouldn't do. I don't think the data would be quick enough to help. But yes, for sure, on a portfolio basis, a strategy basis, absolutely, you can do that, and you can use it in Excel to backtest and develop the strategies. So you know the type of environments where particular economic data is useful, and of course you can avoid the Fed interest rate announcements and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. And also, we're just demonstrating the 5-second time frame so you guys can see the trades happening. But you could be running this on the daily time frame or even the weekly time frame and just have it running on a computer in the background. So yeah, then we probably come into play with those types of longer strategies. And you could probably even program in some data from the Fed or interest rates to say, hey, if interest rates go to this level, we shut down our trading, shut the automated trading off.
Yeah.
So if there was something like that.
And you can program to avoid announcements as well when you know there's going to be too much volatility.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's quite a few data providers out there for the economic data too. I've looked at that, and you could plug that into the Excel sheet.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have to end the live stream today. I think we've done a pretty good demonstration. We'll be doing it again next Tuesday. Thank you very much, Ren. Final thoughts, comments?
Thanks. Nope, that's it for now. Thank you so much for hosting.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Ren. Thank you for being here. And if you have any other thoughts, you're watching this live or on playback, just send us an email, get the model yourself, test it out, and let us know what you think. And feel free to get in touch.
Love to hear your feedback. Yep. Thank you.
Oh,